Okay, what's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Sunday edition of Morning Scone presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, Parish Construction Roofing. If you need an orthopedist, go to Brock. Need a roof? Call Parish. Unique physique and unique aesthetics and wellness. Restored Motions, restoredmotions.com. Bocock Brothers Premium Cigars. Use code MAT15, MAT15, MAT15. 15% off your order. Okay. What's up, y'all? Hope everybody had a great night. Hope you've come down off the adrenaline high of that stunning game in Tiger Stadium. Thrilling game in Tiger Stadium. A game that set offensive football back to the Milesian or perhaps a pre-Milesian era. Hi, Drew. Hi, Drew. Okay. Tigers win 13-10, although I'm sure that's not what everybody really wants to talk about, but that was an absolute atrocity. 79 plays, 328 yards. Michael Van Buren attempted 42 passes and threw for 202 yards. LSU is 3 of 16 on third down, 1 of 3 on fourth down. And some of y'all thought that Michael Van Buren was going to fix it. I'm not blaming Michael Van Buren. I mean, he's a young player. He's exactly what I've said he is. He's a young player. He's not very accurate. Does some good stuff, high ceiling, all that stuff. But I'm almost glad he got the opportunity to play so I don't have to listen to for all eternity, man, if only they played Van Buren all year. How about this second half drive chart? Punt, 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 interception, 18-yard field goal, a field goal from the 1-yard line against Western Kentucky. Interception, punt, punt, 29-yard field goal, punt, punt, punt. I think then that's where I went down the field. That might have been the fumble return for a touchdown. Or maybe there were 2 more punts mixed in, actually. I don't know. 2. So, but I know that's what nobody wants to talk about. Everybody wants to talk about Lane Kiffin. And the unfortunate part of that is I don't think we're going to have any news on that until the Egg Bowl, or after the Egg Bowl, which is what I think Keith Carter was trying to accomplish by releasing that statement, putting a date on it, saying we'll have an announcement the Saturday after the Egg Bowl. Basically saying, stop asking because I don't have an update until after the Egg Bowl. And the intent is to let the Ole Miss team focus on that game, trying to go win that game. And then, what happens after that happens. I still think it's going to be interesting to see if it gets there. Just because of the unrest on the Ole Miss side, because there are a lot of admins, boosters, coaches, players at Ole Miss that do not want him to coach the Egg Bowl. But it sounds like the hay's in the barn, and Ole Miss does begin practice for the Egg Bowl this afternoon. So the players had the weekend off, and then they're back for practice starting today, this afternoon. So we'll see what goes down in Oxford. It is worth noting, though, that it's probably going to be one thing that does work in their favor, Ole Miss's favor here, is that being that it's a holiday, There is no SEC teleconference on Wednesday, and Thursday's Thanksgiving. So normally when you'd have your Thursday media availability, nobody has media availability Thursday because it's Thanksgiving. So, and then they play Friday. So it actually might be a quieter week out of Oxford than we thought. So than I thought. So maybe they do get to Friday and Kiffin on the sideline, and that'll be super awkward with all the conversation going around, and then look for an announcement Saturday. And then the Saints play today against Falcons. Tyler Shuck, first home start. Hat tip Ross Jackson has this piece up at LouisianaSports.net. Tyler Shuck has a chance today to become the first rookie quarterback in Saints history to beat the Falcons in the Superdome. How you like them apples? Okay, let's say some good mornings. Please smash the like button if you would subscribe to the channel. Facebook, like the page, share the post. All of our great sponsors. They're linked in the description on YouTube. Scrolling at the bottom. Appreciate y'all very much. Matt, during halftime, the Tigers game, I think LSU updated another $10 million toward the Kiffin run. Oh, because the offense was so bad. It was bad. Morning, Matt. Heard on a popular podcast, Sexton is playing LSU to get the offer they want out of Florida. Any truth to that? Also, did Curiel break his ankle? Heard that one. Hi.
Daddy.
Hi, buddy.
I want to take a bath and go clean.
Okay, well, that was a very polite sentence and a really good question. I guess that wasn't a question. That was a request. Thank you so much for being so polite, saying please, and using your words. Okay, wait. All right, you're free. You're free. See you later. All right. So, Landon, you'll have to tell me what podcast. You said a popular podcast. That doesn't necessarily mean that they are in any way credible. I think Jimmy Sexton is always trying to get the best deal for his client, as any agent should. And it's one of the things that I've said, if things do go awry for LSU, there's a number of things that could happen. Lane Kiffin could get cold feet and decide he wants to stay at Ole Miss. He could, Florida could come back to the table and make some ridiculous offer, although I don't think that's happening. Texas could lose to A&M, fire Steve Sarkisian, and get in the Kiffin sweepstakes. Alabama could lose to Auburn, and DeBoer could go to Penn State, and they could get in the Kiffin sweepstakes. I mean, there's so much that could happen. There's just so much that could happen between in a week. So it's why when you don't have a signed binding agreement, which they don't, things can change. Let's see. BK's arrogance in being an O-line guru was his downfall with NIL money invested in the wrong group for the season was the biggest issue of the domino effect. So I do agree that the offensive line was the problem. I do not think that there was arrogance. They signed 2 starting offensive linemen out of the portal, and they went after 2 others. So that they didn't land. They tried to get Wilkin Formby from Alabama, who's their starting right tackle, who was coming, and then Alabama matched. So he never went in the portal, but it was all done through agents. He was coming, and then Bama matched, and he stayed. And then there was the kid I've told you before out of Montana State who ultimately picked Michigan State over LSU. So they tried to get more. They signed 2, try to get 2 more. I don't think that's arrogance. I just think sometimes you miss. Would Underwood have saved Kelly's job? It's an interesting hypothetical. I don't know how the season would have gone. I mean, Nussmeier still would have been the starter. So you're saying, would they have kept Kelly because Underwood would be the guy next year? I don't know. That was painful to watch. That was very painful to watch. That was the taco. That was great. But I scaled back my order a little bit. I got 2 soft tacos and 2 Doritos Locos tacos, not 3 of each. Scaled back. And it was the right call. I mean, it was 12:30. So I had that before I did Locked On last night. So I was doing Locked On LSU last night till like 1:30 in the morning. So if y'all would please go watch or listen to my Locked On post game, I'd really appreciate it because I stayed up and did that at like 1:30. Sorry, I did that. I've never turned off a game LSU was winning before last. Tiger Stadium was electric, I tell you. My first game back in 8 years, and that's the game I picked. Maybe it's me. Hey, Austin, good morning. Thought I'd sense the worst. I'd seen the worst of ugly wins under Les Miles, but that win fell off the ugly tree, hit every branch down. Yeah. I was talking about this with Wilson Alexander, the advocate. I think I might have said this last night, but we were saying that about Les, and Wilson's point was at least Les's teams had an identity, and he's right. Like, you knew they were going to play defense and run the football. It wasn't always aesthetically pleasing. Their inability to throw the ball was maddening. But they won a lot, and they won a certain way. Last night was just hideous all the way around. Hey, Patrick, good morning. Hey, Thomas, good morning. All right, day 26, we'll get it. Hey, Brian, good morning. Ryan, good morning. The mic sounds off. Oh. What? Yep, it sure is. Good catch. Hang on. Let me see. There, that should be better. Good now? That should be good. Good. Better. Audio. Yep, that's better. Sorry about that. Good catch. Hey, Kelly Gross, good morning. Let's see. If I knew it could fix a broken offense lane, Kiffin is the one. Sweet baby Jesus, let this happen. Good morning. That in-stadium experience was fun as a root canal. You mean you weren't blown away by the boom boom t-shirt cannon? Or the few hundred idiot students in the student section with their shirts off waving them around? Oof. Hey, Jeremy. Barn burner in Tiger Stadium. Austin, any update on Moore's injury? Yeah, he had a mid-foot sprain, is what they said after the game. I don't know what that means, how severe that is, if he's able to play this week, but it's going to be really, really ugly against Oklahoma because that's probably the best defense in the SEC, and you are the worst offense ever, and that's not going to be good. Hey, Ryan, good morning. I was talking about last night. The double deckers are so good. I don't know why they ever went off the menu. I was at the game last night for the first time since 2005. I think I'm banned from coming back. Let's see. If LSU hires Eli, we pull an A&M. Hiring a coach who said the season shouldn't be key playoffs or bust after firing. If LSU hires Eli, we pull an A&M. Hiring a coach said this season. What? Go to Clegg's, Erica? Shouldn't be playoffs or bust every time. I don't understand pulling an A&M. At the A&M hiring Oka, I'm not understanding what you're saying. Sorry. I think you're saying it would not be good to hire Drinkwitz, and I agree with you. Haven't been excited for Saints game in 3 years. This would be fun, man. Saints Falcons. I mean, and you got a 3-7 Atlanta team, a 2-8 New Orleans team, but you got Saints Falcons and Tyler Shuck, first start as a rookie at home. What? Go to Fresh Market, Erica? Crazy. Yes, I'm excited about watching the Saints today at 325. Offense was so much better with a mobile quarterback. Jesus. I don't think you're being serious. I think you're being facetious. 13 points against a team, by the way, that came in ranked 108th in the country in rush defense, and you ran 37 times for 126. Thank you, Thomas. Brian, of all the games LSU ever played, that was one. Why are y'all asking about Curiel breaking his ankle? I mean, I don't know. I mean, who's asking about?
Who is that?
Here, I just asked. I'll find out. What?
Shay.
Yeah, Shay, are you watching Shay? We're watching Shay Dixon videos. What?
Oh, iPad.
Well, then go watch your iPad, baby. I love your shirt.
Oh, Daddy's slap.
Daddy's lap. You're not getting Daddy's phone, okay? Watch your toes. You can sit on my lap, but you're not getting my phone. Okay. You want to say hi?
Hi.
Hi. So sweet.
Who is that?
Who? You tell me.
Shay.
Shay. Yep. Bocock Brothers are watching. Bocock Brothers Premium Cigars. Use the code MAT15. MAT15. MAT15, 15% off your order. Good. Great time to get a Christmas gift for the cigar smoker on your list. Cool gifts for clients as well. Let me put the link in the chat. And they're LSU alums. Shout out. There you go. Posted the link. FLSU, it's a waste of state taxes. You're going to have to explain that one to me. You're going to have to explain how the thing that literally is the greatest economic driver is individually, right, is a waste of state taxes. And you're also going to have to explain to me how state taxes pays for anything associated with LSU athletics, because they don't, by the way. It's a completely self-funded athletic department. So that's actually really dumb. That's really dumb. Ignorant. Morning, Matt. Possible to get the text number you mentioned in AFR. Yeah, 225-396-4400. 225-396-4400. Vibes in the game felt like Troy game from years ago. Oh, there's been lots of games like that, man. The 08 game against Troy when they got down was 31 and then came back and rallied, or got down 28, 131, 28, something like that. The Troy game in 2017, they lost. That was really bad too. Matt, with the contract from LSU being announced, will that make Ole Miss and Florida say, oh, we can do better? Maybe. I mean, I think that's one of the reasons why Jimmy Sexton, i.e. CAA, would have wanted it out. But I don't know. Do you and Scarborough have beef? I don't usually listen to him, but someone on a stream said he's starting to sound like you, and he wasn't happy about it. No, I saw Mike last night. Mike and I have always got along. I don't have beef with anybody. At least not that I know of. I think all together, the LSU beat writers, reporters, everybody gets along really well. Club, good morning, Matt. What would you say you do? So what would you say you do here? Office Space reference. Love it. They said Nuss was the problem.
Who is that?
That's been my point.
Who is that?
Like,
Yeah.
Shay. if this goes back to the whole two things can be true, right? I'm not saying Nuss was flawless. I'm not saying that it wasn't an issue, right? Like he was part of the problem for whatever reason. Didn't develop, ab injury, whatever. Got hit so much, he started getting skittish, whatever. But my point is, if you thought that was the only problem and Michael Van Buren was going to fix it, you weren't paying attention. That's the point that I was making over and over and over and over and over and over again. I think everybody sees that now. Fast and flavorful. Morning, Matt. Shout out to the LSU soccer team making it to the Sweet 16 of their tournament, and LSU cross country placing 23rd in the national meet. First time making the national meet in team history, 43 years. That's awesome. Definitely. Congrats. Like, let's not do this, okay? Let's not do this thing. I don't want to do that. Because now you're doing the thing that people were doing in Nussmeier. Like, let's not do that. Imagine if we had an offense against Ole Miss and Vandy, we probably win. And Bama, you held Bama to 20 points. Your defense held Bama to 20 points in their home field. Go. More, Matt. Have you seen the report from Matt Zenitz that Kiffin could potentially bring Edo back to LSU if he became the next head coach? Appreciate what you do. Did see that. Talked about it Friday on AFR, and I'd be fine with it. Ed's a great defensive line coach, great recruiter, great energy, loves LSU. Yeah, if Kiffin wanted that, I'd be perfectly fine with that. On Friday's AFR, I brought up John Quincy Adams. And if you're a history buff, you'll know this. But well done. Well done. So John Quincy Adams holds the distinction of being the only president of the United States of America. Who is that? Sure. Being the only president of the United States who, after serving his term as president, went back and served in Congress. Daddy go to church, and then we'll go to the mall, and then we'll watch Saints. Yep.
Daddy'll say it.
Daddy go to church, Erica. So John Quincy Adams has the distinction of being the only president who, after serving his term, went back and served in Congress. So he basically took a demotion, so to speak, but he wanted to continue serving his country. So he served 17 years in Congress until his death after he was the president. And in some respects, Ed Orgeron will be doing the same thing. If you could humble yourself to walk back in that building where you once had the big office in the corner on the second floor with the balcony, and now all of a sudden someone else is in that office and you're not, and you can be okay with that.
Who is that?
Respect. Sure. There go, church, there go. Let's see. I want to see MBB, but I can admit, like I did last week, he's very inaccurate. Yeah. Maybe you'll listen to my camp reports next time. Erica. Sorry, let's see. Brian, you're biased against MVP. There would have been 20 cents. Brian, you know the issue. Hey, last time, okay? Erica. No, Brian. You see, one of the things Nuss was actually really good at was getting rid of the ball to avoid sacks. So that's why you saw so much of the horizontal passing game, quick release, which, by the way, they did last night with Michael Van Buren as well, who threw 42 times for 202 yards. Kick rocks. Like, I don't mean to be rude, Brian, but like, this is such an awful, ridiculous comment. I mean, I don't know how you could possibly, literally, I don't know how a human being could watch that game last night
Literally, watch that team, that offensive performance, 13 points, and think that Van Buren's better than Nussmeier. Like, how could you possibly look at that? James Reed, good morning. Morning, Scone. How bad is next weekend going to be? Really, really bad. Also, no Eli Drinkwitz is plan B. I'm telling you, nothing better than morning game. Hey, Scott, good morning. I'm sorry. I was looking at a text. Oh, Eli. I think Drinkwitz, I think the fan sentiment against Eli Drinkwitz, let me say this. I hope the fan sentiment against Eli Drinkwitz will move the decision makers against that if the Kiffin thing falls apart. My hope is that we don't need to find out. But there just is no support here for Eli Drinkwitz. And yesterday, them losing to Oklahoma, it's a further illustration of why. It's what I've, and I don't think he's a bad coach. I think if you look at Drinkwitz and the games he's won, it's an artificially inflated. It's what James Franklin did at Vanderbilt. It's you schedule 4 garbage non-conference games to guarantee yourself 4 wins. If you go 5-3 in the league, you lose to 3 ranked teams. You beat the bottom half of the league. You're 9-3. You go to a bowl game. You play a team with a bunch of opt-outs. You win it. You get to 10, and you're like, oh, we're 10 wins. What does that actually matter? Anyway. One more day closer to baseball season. Hey, David, good morning. Brandon Walker is guaranteeing Lane Kiffin is staying at Ole Miss. Okay. I wouldn't guarantee anything. Speaking in absolutes and guarantees is just not a good idea. You aren't bowl eligible if Michael Van Buren starts all year.
All done.
All done. I guess the question there is, would you beat South Carolina and Florida? And you probably still do. You think it's possible for LSU to be relevant next season if this team stays together and Lane Kiffin brings an elite quarterback? Well, this team stays together part of it is really tough because, I mean, most of your contributors are gone. That's a backpack blow. I mean, Nussmeier's gone, Aaron Anderson's gone, Barrion Brown's gone, Xavier Thomas is gone, Bauer Sharp, Josh Thompson, Patrick Payton, Jack Pyburn, Jamari Butler, Bernard Gooden, Mansour Delane, AJ Halsey, West Weeks, Harold Perkins. I mean, you're losing a ton. Now, the question is it possible to be relevant? Yes, because the portal era allows you to do that. You can go into the portal and rebuild your team in 1 year. I mean, that's what Kelly did in his first season. But they hit on all those defensive players in the portal. They hit on Joe Fouché and Greg Brooks and Jark Bernard Converse and Mekhi Garter. They hit on all those guys in year 1 defensively, and it allowed them to make that transition. And they hit on Jaden, so. Big Mill, LSU looked dominant last night. Arnold, can't wait for the new coach to come on board. Come on, Kiffin. If Tyler Shuck plays good again today, I'm going to start saying delusional things. I hope he does. I hope we do. Bubba, good morning. Adam, the worst I've seen the O-line. Look, yesterday was bad, and you lose Braylon Moore in the first half, and then you lose Ori Williams as well. And, a line that already is struggling, you're down two guys, including your best lineman, who's your center. Yeah, it's not good. Let's see, Matt, my last day in Vegas, hit the road tomorrow and move back to the boot. Okay, welcome back. If this goes all the way to Saturday, I'm expecting something happen to derail the deal. Frank coached like he was scared to death. Well, the kicking the field goal from the 1 yard line against a team that's ranked 108th nationally in rush defense is very telling. You kicked a field goal. You kicked an 18-yard field goal. You can't kick a field goal shorter than 18. 10 for the end zone, 7 yards back. We're at the 1 yard line. You kicked an 18-yard field goal. And it was probably the right decision, too. Gary, good morning. I guess you survived. Talk about luck. Survived it. Thrived in it. Scott, good morning. Any truth to the rumor Jake Brown didn't use the VR goggles this summer to work on hitting lefties? I have no idea. If Lane comes, what players come with him? Quarterback, running back? Don't know. Don't know. Haven't got that far at all. Egg Bowl Friday at 11. Maybe we hear something Saturday before our game at 2:30. I don't know. I don't know timing of that. The statement from Keith Carter was that can y'all see him? He's looking at a backpack blower. Guy doing yard work across the street. What do you see? He's just mesmerized.
Parish Construction and Roofing. At Parish, we've got you covered. From the top of your roof, all the way down. Parish Construction and Roofing. Parish built. Parish built. Parish built. From your hometown. ParishBuilt.com.
Okay. Parish Construction and Roof. Remember, if you need North Peas, go to Brock. You need a roof, call Parish. Hey, Brian. Good morning, Matt. From Eaton, Ohio. Defense played their butts off last night. Last time LSU scored 24. So it's not.
What is that?
Backpack blue. So Brian, the stat was that Rabelais and Wilson put out was that it's at least 78 because 78 was the Division I split, and so dating back to 1978. So it could be even longer ago than that, but it's at least 1978. It's a short 25 in a season, which is crazy. Let's see, Matt. The short yardage struggles all season. Why don't they run camp? So really don't think that's the answer. And number two, he's redshirting to preserve a year of eligibility. Headed to brunch with the family, then special needs Matt St. Mark's. Thanks for commitment to your audience. P.S. Thoughts on Fry Ranch? I don't know Fry Ranch. And that's awesome, Robbie. The special needs mass is something really cool that the diocese does. I know we saw you there at St. Jude once before. Fry Ranch. Fry Ranch bourbon. I've never even heard of it. I'll have to try it. I've never even heard of it. I'll give it a go. Thanks, dude. Y'all have a great Sunday. All right. Let me try to catch up here. Who do you think will return next year? How now that looks Kiffin will be the head coach? Who will return? Do you mean players or coaches? I think all that is to be determined. I think any coach that comes in would be foolish not to retain Frank and Corey. Although some of the convos I had this week is that Lane Kiffin would likely bring his running backs and cornerbacks coach. So how does that work? I don't know. I know everybody loves Blake Baker. I love Blake Baker. I would love for Blake Baker to be back. But if Lane Kiffin comes, he's bringing Pete Golding. So I also think there's a real chance that John Summerall gets a big job and then Blake Baker becomes the head coach at Tulane. I think he'll certainly be on that list. I think it's a real possibility. So see how that plays out. What are the bowl projections if LSU beats Oklahoma? Oh, I don't know. I don't know that how much that even really impacts. Remember, the way that bowls are done now is, and I know this is kind of confusing because everyone assumes there's a hierarchy, like a pecking order. There isn't. It depends, first of all, how many teams go to the playoff. So the highest ranked SEC team not to make the college football playoff goes to the Citrus Bowl. And then after that, all the other games, Gator, whatever they call the one in Tampa now, Houston, the Texas Bowl, Music City Bowl, Belk Bowl, all that stuff. Those are all in one big pot, and they place teams in there based on matchups, proximity, who they think will travel, that sort of thing. Ashari, let's see, just returning from New York, feels like we're going to be left at the altar and trolled. Here's what I know. I know that the LSU brass, they are, and I mean from, you talk about alignment from Governor, President Roos, Verge Osbury, committee, all of them, they are pot committed to Lane Kiffin as their number one guy. That is not, there's no smoke screen. Like their cards are on the table. They are all in on Lane Kiffin, and they are willing to be as patient as they need to be, because I really feel like they don't love a next option. And I think evidenced by the fact that we can't really decipher who the next best option is. And I'll tell you, like, I think in their minds, Drinkwitz is their number two, but the fan reaction that has been so negative, that's probably caused a little reshaping. But
I think
they're all in on Kiffin. And as I said last Sunday, the interest is mutual and sincere. And I do think, again, barring a change, Lane Kiffin will be LSU's coach. But you have a long way to go till Saturday without something happening. Summerall understands the portal. That's big. I love John Summerall. If LSU hired John Summerall, I would 10 out of 10 endorse that. I know everybody has their mind set on Lane Kiffin. I do too. But if it comes to it, and they hire John Summerall, I would be pumped about that. Going to be a long week, Matt. Yes. You think Kyle Williams, the O-line coach, will be retained? I do not think Brad Davis will be back. Kyle Williams will be interesting because a lot of people have brought up Ed Ogeron. Well, if Lane Kiffin wants to bring Ed Ogeron back, well, then Ed Ogeron would be the line coach. Matt Bryant, let's get to the question everyone wants to know. What bowl game is LSU looking at? Do you see LSU beating OSU? I don't know that I see LSU getting a first down against Oklahoma. No, I don't. So this, I just don't understand there, Hal. If all you see is a G6 coach in Louisiana,
What is
blue, and
what?
sometimes they work and sometimes they flame out, and sometimes you hire Brian Kelly and it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Blow. But I love the Summerall piece of it. He's from Texas, played in the SEC at Kentucky, has coached at multiple stops in the SEC. He's been a head coach at 2 different places, had success at both of them. Gets the portal culture, this era. I love John Summerall. I love his energy. At 43, he could be your coach for the next 20 years. I'm not saying he would be, but he could be. I would love it. Does $25 million in funding LSU offer include rev share too? No. So that's on top of rev share. I would highly recommend, by the way, if you're interested, I did a Locked On podcast yesterday
What is
explaining the money, the contract, the rev share, all of it. Below the structure of below. What are you doing? So I would highly recommend you go listen to the Locked On LSU that I dropped yesterday. Again, like it benefits me if you listen to the podcast, but I'll drop the YouTube link in case you prefer to watch. Here you go. I'll drop the link in the chat. But that explains a lot. A lot of the questions you'd have about the contract for Kiffin, the rev share, NIL on top of it. How does that work? Why does it work? I got all of that in there. Did something new happen? People from Florida are trying to think he's going there. Yeah, I'll continue to say that what?
What is he doing?
What?
What is he doing?
What's he doing?
How are you using?
I think the Florida media are like about 10 to 14 days behind the news cycle.
What is that?
I referenced this yesterday last night on Whiskey and Wine. It's a blow. And something happened like 2 weeks ago that I think Florida people are just finding out about that they think is significant, that is not. I will, whenever all this is done, I will tell you. I don't want to say it now, And I won't say it now. And I know that's probably bad form and will, annoy y'all. But I'm trying to think if there's a way I want to say this. Just to suffice to say that, but 2 weeks ago, there was a very strong reason to believe that Lane Kiffin was going to be the Florida coach. And I believe that very much so. A lot has transpired since then, but I think a lot of people that cover Florida are just finding out about what happened 2 weeks ago that make them think, oh, it's done, because they think it's now, but it's not. That was 2 weeks ago. That was before LSU really ramped up their interest and before Layla was here last week and everything that transpired and LSU's offer is out there and it's agreed upon and all that sort of stuff. It's a blue.
But
Matt, when's the last time you saw an LSU team collapse like this? Even accounting for battle line, the weekly regression has been collapse. Hey. Last time, okay, baby. Okay. Backpack low. Okay. Thank you. Collapse was 2015, if you want to use that word. Remember, LSU was undefeated. I think they were number 2 in the first CFP rankings. Fournette's name was already basically etched on the Heisman. People forget just how incredible that team looked up until that point. And then they went to Bama, lost, and then they got absolutely run over by Arkansas in Tiger Stadium. And then they went to Ole Miss wearing all whites, and it was a comedy of errors, and they lost that game as well. They lost 3 in a row. That was a collapse. This team, I think, just got exposed for not being as good as I and many people thought they were. Andrew said, do you predict Aaron Anderson will come back next year? No, Aaron Anderson's out of eligibility. Do you think the national attention with Summerall changes perception for the power brokers against hiring the Tulane coach? I think there are absolutely people at LSU who don't want to hire the Tulane coach. I don't think that's a unanimous belief. And Summerall is on that list. I told you it's after Lane, it's that group of Drinkwitz, Summerall, Dillingham, Blake Baker. There's always the possibility there could be a wild card, but not that I've heard. Like, I know people have asked about Braum from Louisville. Not that I've heard. People asked about Clark Lee. Not that I've heard. Generally, it's not to say that I would know everything or any name that's mentioned, but generally speaking, as you go through that process of vetting candidates, the people that are going to ultimately write the checks to pay for that, they're going to have some indication and inkling about who is being mentioned. So when you don't hear a name at all, it's kind of indicative that it's quiet there for a reason. OU's offense so bad it could be a close game, turnovers and field position. I don't know, man. I'm scrolling. Please smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. Facebook, like the page, share the post. Appreciate y'all for hanging out with us here. It's interesting. Trivia said, why is Perkins listed as a junior? I just looked it up. He's listed as a redshirt junior. Shouldn't be, because 14 games as a freshman, 13 games as a sophomore. Then last year, he played in 4 games when he got injured. And then this year, he's played in 11. So he played in 4 games, which means he is not a redshirt. Could he apply and file for a medical hardship and try to get last year back? I guess he could. He could apply for it. I don't think that's going to happen. So this is interesting. Henny and Musso had the Senior Bowl director on pregame. I was glad to hear him say NFL scouts won't forget what Nuss did last year. I'll see bad the Olo. So I met Drew. His name's Drew Fabianich, by the way, is the guy who's the executive director of the Senior Bowl who replaced Jim Nagy. And both Nagy and Fabianich, I spoke with at Media Days this year. I spent a lot of time talking to Drew Fabianich at Media Days this year. It was just interesting how our paths and schedules kind of crossed. But and so there was ended up being a lot of downtime where we spent a lot of time talking and look him up. I mean, been a lot of places, done and seen a lot of things. But both of them were very high on Nussmeier. Nagy said that, again, this was in the summer. This was in July, so context. I'm trying to get an answer on Curio.
Whoa.
Finding out. Boo. What do you say? Are we who is that? Who is that?
Mom.
Mommy. Yep. Good job. Erica. All right. I'm going to do about 10 more minutes, y'all. I'm going to church. So I'm going to mass at 11:30. So got about 10 more minutes. What? Blue. Let's see. Regardless of who ends up being the next head coach, they need to keep Frankie Gore rounded away. I completely, wholeheartedly agree with you. This is nice. Thank you. Best job in the world. Best compliment you could pay. I can't say we're the best 4-loss team in the country anymore. Aggie fan here. If LSU tries drink, I expect your fans will get the same rectal exam face. What is the answer? Yeah. That's kind of the point. I mean, there's been a couple of instances, that's a notable one, where it looked like A&M was going to hire Stoops. When Tennessee was hiring Schiano, where you've had basically a fan revolt, and it caused the sort of a reversal. So, I mean, I think the same thing would be true if LSU tried to hire Drinkwitz. I'm ready for this to be over at this point. Not over yet. Jane Daniels was the interception king and inaccurate passer at Arizona State. That takes time. The inaccuracy is true. I mean, that was the knock on Jaden when he came over. I've referenced this before, but talked to Regina, his mom, on AFR when Jaden committed, and she said, she basically, if that's the thing, we're going to go work on that. And They did. I think he worked with Jordan Palmer, was his quarterback's coach out in California. As a freshman in 19, he completed 60.7% of his passes. By the way, 17 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. In the COVID year, they only played 4 games, but he had 5 touchdowns, 1 interception. So we didn't have the interception problem. That third year in 21 is when he had 10 and 10 touchdowns, 10 picks. So you can't say he was the interception king, but all of his stats just became imbalanced. But he did complete 65% of his passes that year, which was bizarro world. Anyway, let's see. I think Summerall ends up at Ole Miss. I think there's a really good chance he does. If Lane leaves, I think that's a real possibility. Let's get Cignetti's replacement from James Madison. Get Cignetti. Cignetti signed an extension at Indiana. He's not leaving. Is the stigma of the Tulane coach better than ULL coach? I don't know. I think it's both silly. I mean, if someone can coach, they can coach. Thought Aaron Anderson or Richard Year at Alabama. Check. Almost positive Aaron Anderson's out of eligibility. They played 1 game at Alabama that freshman year. So 11 and 23, 13 and 24, and then 9 games this year. So he would. Yeah, you're right. Sorry. I thought he'd use that year. Good call. So Anderson could come back. I have not heard that he plans to come back, but he could. And he went through senior day yesterday too. So if we get Lane, hope they put in the contract he cannot leave to go to Alabama. I don't think you put that in the contract, but you can put that if he goes to Alabama. It's a absurd buyout. That would make it cost prohibitive for him to do that. He's got Tulane almost in the playoffs. Get over the little brother stuff. Hire him. I'm with you. I'd rather Lane Kiffin, but if you don't get Kiffin and you fall on Summerall, I'd be thrilled with that. Let's see, Matt, the man, the myth, the legend. Are there any quarterbacks you think could potentially come to the Tigers through the portal? Well, we don't know who's in the portal yet, so it's impossible to know that. But I mean, I think it's fair to make an assumption. Like, let's say you hire Lane Kiffin, does Austin Simmons go in the portal from Ole Miss? Maybe. Wouldn't be surprised if Baker ended up leaving to take the Tulane job. I mean, that's been a point I've made quite often. It's if Summerall leaves, Baker will be one of the front runners for that job. A year ago, remember, Summerall was in the mix for North Carolina. And if Summerall had gotten the North Carolina job, there was a really good chance I think Blake Baker would have gotten the Tulane job last year. So I don't know why that would change this year. If Summerall gets a head coaching job, I think Baker would certainly be in line. Baker wants to be a head coach. He will be a head coach. He'll be a great head coach. And I think he played at Tulane. I think there's a really good chance that would happen. So remember, shout out as always to our sponsors. If you need an orthopedic, go to Brock. You need a roof, call Parrish, parrishbuilt.com, parrishbuilt.com. Repairs, replacements. We do soft washing as well for your roof, your whole front of your house, your hardscape. Unique physique and unique aesthetics and wellness. Gents, if you don't do Botox, tell your ladies Unique Aesthetics and Wellness, $8 a unit Botox, everyday price, $8 a unit Botox. They do everything, laser therapy, all that sort of stuff. Restored Motions, book a session with Crystal Poche, restoredmotions.com. And Bocock Brothers, premium cigars. Love this box. It's their executive box. I don't know if you can tell. Yeah, I guess you can tell. It's the Mike the Tiger logo on it. Awesome. So check them out. And I don't think they have the baseball national championship boxes anymore, but they do have the pinstripe boxes, the 100-year Tiger Stadium boxes. Use the code MAT15, 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 15% off your order. Let's see. 2026 is going to taste like castor oil no matter who comes in. I just disagree with that. Like, remember, Brian Kelly inherited a team that went, you were 5-5 in the COVID year. You were 6-7 in 2021. You had a dearth of experience. You came in the first year, they beat Bama, won 10 games, won the West. Like, you can do it in this era. Can't play fifth. Oh, with Perkins. Yeah, you know what? You're right. So if he played 4 games a year ago, that's your threshold. So I guess he could come back for another year. I haven't heard any chance that he would come back. And he participated in senior day last night, so I would assume he's gone. Chances of Moffitt return, none. Yeah, that's my bad on the 4 games. My bad. Yes, you could play in 4 to maintain the red shirt. My bad. Yes. I haven't gotten a reply on the Curiel thing yet. Yeah, Sean, why would he want to go to Alabama? He never built his own legacy because he's a guy that could and would and whatever. Kiffin's offense and Baker's defense would be interesting to watch. Is Whitweek staying to play another year at LSU? I would think so. I think his draft stock has certainly fallen this year, and he could come back next year, be healthy, raise his draft stock, participate in rev share, NIL. Like, it would make a lot of sense. We'll see what decision he makes, but it would make a lot of sense. Let's see. Did a little research. Oh, I got to go. Research on the DB coach from Ole Miss yesterday. He's an Ole Miss alum. He may stay. Doesn't recruit as well. Here's what I'll tell you. Again, I don't even know the Ole Miss defensive backs coach. I'm telling you what was told me from someone, let's call it close to Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin, with an understanding of what he would want to do with his staff if he came here. He likes his running backs coach and his defensive backs coach, as I understand it, and would want to bring them. And when I brought up Corey, the thought was, yeah, well, it's LSU and anybody can coach him if you get the talent. And at LSU, you should be able to get the talent. Now, I think that's silly because we saw that movie play out when Brian Kelly didn't retain Corey Raymond. So, I mean, DJ Pickett said point blank, he's here because of Corey Raymond. You got Haven Finney committed for 2026 because of Corey Raymond. I would hate to see that turn over again. Just me. Anyway. All right, I got to go. I love this. These are the best ones all day. Huge respect from as a father. Cool to see interaction with him. That's hey, you know what? It's the Drew's the best part of every day. And if you are a dad, you understand that. You know, there's just nothing in the world that'll matter more to me than being Drew's dad. So sports are fun, but they're just a thing. You know, work is just a thing. So be good to your kids. Love them unconditionally. Okay, I'm going to church. See y'all. Have an awesome day. If anything pops, I'll certainly be here. Probably try to, if something pops up that I can, if I get anything today, I'll drop a locked on episode this afternoon. Thanks for being there, y'all. Please smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, Facebook, like the page, share the post. All of our sponsors linked in the description on YouTube. Have an awesome day, y'all.